making sure that we're continuing to construct infrastructure. And when you look at what is behind us as far as the wall that is being built, you see obviously the structure, but also there will be more added to it as far as technology, cameras, sensors that will ensure that it will be secure far into the future and that will be efficient as well with our resources and our individuals and our agents that are out here on duty day and night making sure that America is safe. Remember that a nation without borders is no nation at all. And we're so thankful that we have a president that understands that and understands that a secure border is important to our country's future. Now, if you look at the structure that's behind me, it's tall, which makes it very, very difficult to climb, almost impossible. It also goes deep into the ground, which would make it very difficult, if not impossible, to dig under. And today, we are also going to be painting it black. That is specifically at the request of the president, who understands that in the hot temperatures down here, when something is painted black, it gets even warmer, and it will make it even harder for people to climb. So we are going to be painting the entire southern border wall black to make sure that we encourage individuals to not come into our country illegally, to not break our federal laws, but that they will abide and come to our country the right way so that they can stay and have the opportunity to become United States citizens and pursue the American dream. Now, we got an incredible amount of resources allocated to us in the big, beautiful bill. And we're so thankful for that because that's going to allow us to continue construction. The construction right now is at the pace of a little bit less than a half a mile a day. And the border wall will look very different based on the topography and the geography of where it is built. Here you see structure. We will have waterborne infrastructure that will be put in place as well, and then that technology will be installed. And we'll utilize that to make sure that we're doing due diligence in securing every single inch of our border.
All right, switching gears to politics here. The far-left movement is growing and has now stretched all the way to Maine. Graham Planter, an oyster farmer and Marine veteran, has announced he is running for Republican Susan Collins' Senate seat, and many of his policies mirror New York's socialist mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani. That includes calling for universal health care, supporting an arms sale ban against Israel, as well as declaring the enemy is the oligarchy and even hiring the same consulting firm as Mamdani. Mark Bednar is a former communications director for Speaker McCarthy and a principal at Monument Advocacy, and he joins me now. Mark, good morning to you. It's great to see you. So we're talking about a crop of new, young political candidates, names we've never heard of before, from New York to Minneapolis and now in Maine. And you start to wonder, are these just a few races here or there? Are we starting to see the beginning of an ideological shift within the Democratic Party?
Well, I think it's kind of both. On one hand, it's like clockwork. Every single election cycle, the media will kind of pick their pet project of progressives that they kind of put on a mantle to basically generate excitement at a time when, especially now, when the favorability of the party is at an all-time low and the country is doing really well. So we've seen this with Beto O'Rourke in Texas. We've seen this with Stacey Abrams in Georgia. Kamala Harris twice when she ran for president. And the real way that you find out if you're that candidate on the Democratic side is if you get a Time magazine cover or like Vanity Fair, and it says, you know, his time, her choice, his decision, something like that. So we're really seeing this a big part from a media perspective too. That being said, clearly this party is rudderless, it is leaderless, and so you see the energy that is basically being driven from the radical base popping up in these cities and states all across the country.
Yeah, that's a great point. We've seen this before with Ilhan Omar, AOC, but I think the question right now is how far will this grow? And adding something new to the mix, and it's an issue within the Democratic Party right now. Here's a moment from the liberal podcast Pod Save America, and host John Levitt says that Democratic voters have really basic questions right now, including what the party stands for. Watch this.
They have deeper questions about what the Democratic Party stands for. They just don't know. And that's what Trump does, right? He makes the base feel as though they have no needs. He doesn't need to prove anything to them. The places where he has an authentic connection based around policy, agenda, voice, style, beliefs, that gives him room and trust. And Democrats just don't have that.
Yeah, and I think when a party has no clear direction or leader, sometimes the loudest, most outraged voices rise to the top. If you look at this Guardian article, it's titled "The Mamdani Effect," how his win spurred more than 10,000 progressives to consider run for office. 10,000.
Incoming voice call from +91 86196 46879. Incoming voice call from +91 86196 46879.